Yo, what's up, beautiful people? All right, Sonder and Raba aren't joining me today, so you're getting the Logan Brown show. Hope everyone is doing well. Thanks so much for being here. Got a lot of fun things to unpack. So if you have any questions out of the gate, things you're actually interested in hearing about today outside of our web analytics, and we have something new that I want to show you guys with Willie that we're working on, which is our AI chatbot. We're creating some custom dashboards, and we've pre-built some things for you that you can take advantage of now in your shop. So if you have any other questions, I've also got, if you left questions when you registered, I've got those written down, so we'll cover those. But I'm super psyched to have you guys here. So thanks so much for joining. And yeah, so we'll jump into it in a second. Rabo likes to start things off with a little bit of water cooler talk. I think that's fun. One thing for all the direct-to-consumer brands to go look at is the Twitter beef that went down with the guy who runs Open Store. That thread went viral this week because he launched kind of an Amazon competitor. It's essentially just a Shopify store that aggregates all of the products of the stores that Open Store bought. So essentially what this brand is trying to do, or this company is trying to gobble up e-commerce stores that are struggling, and they're trying to revive them. And then now they're trying to create kind of like a marketplace for these folks. And it's really interesting. Like, a lot of the direct to consumer folks on Twitter think it's a huge fail. It's not going to work. I'm kind of interested. Like, I think Shop is really cool. Shopify's like Shop app. I think that's a really great way for me to find out about products. It does a great job of like recommending me products that are similar to what I'm buying in other Shopify sites. So I'm curious if Open Store can get enough products and enough differentiation so that people would want to go shop there. I already see that they're kind of giving you discounts on things. Like, there's this brand called Jack Archer. If anybody's seen them, they do like pants, like performance pants and shirts, like meant for work, but they're like performance fabric. And they're like, I think they're normally $125, but Open Store selling them for $99 to people who buy through their site. So there might be some interesting incentives like that to bring people in. So go check out that beef. Just look up Open Store on Twitter, and I'm sure you'll see what's going on, which I think is pretty funny. All right, we got some more people trickling in here. Very cool, very cool. Micah and Kenny, welcome back. Michael McGee, thanks for coming in. Mike Woodland, thanks for being here. Super cool. By the way, Michael McGee, not to put you on the spot, but I think we have some mutual friends at Muggsy. I used to work at Chubby's back in the day. And if I'm correct, I think a couple of those folks went to Muggsy after a while. So you have to let me know in the chat. Yeah, Scott. Yeah, Scott's awesome. I stayed in Scott's house on his couch back in San Francisco. So that's where I slept when I went there, which is pretty funny, but very nice guy. Hope he's doing well. Nice. Let him know I said, hey, hopefully he'll remember me, but it's been 10 years probably. So in any case, let's get into it. I'm going to hopefully share my screen here. And yeah, cool. All right, so first thing I wanted to show off, of course, was web analytics. And I'm hoping we can make this a bit collaborative. So my background is in marketing. I, like many of you, probably spent a lot of time in Google Analytics. And what we decided to do is we realized the Pixel can pretty much track what Google Analytics is tracking. So a lot of the key features there we can replicate. And so we thought for a lot of brands, we can just save them the time and effort of trying to spin up GA4 and deal with learning a new system. Maybe you can just do everything here in Triple Whale. So the first iteration of this, or the first part, is actually web analytics. So now what we're doing is calculating users, sessions, which we were already doing in the Pixel. So if you're in the Pixel, you were used to conversion rate and users and sessions, but now we're bringing in a couple of different things like bounce rate, pages per session, session duration, percent of new users, and now conversion rate, like as it used to be, was conversions divided by visitors. Now we're doing conversions divided by sessions because we've adopted a similar timeout on a session duration, similar to what Google Analytics is doing. So our definition of sessions is, I think, improved. So I'd be curious to know, like, this is definitely going to be a bit different than what you see in Shopify and probably what you'll see in Google Analytics as well. But I'm curious how many folks out here can operate off of these metrics and kind of continue to live in triple whale. And additionally, this opens up a lot of really fun future endeavors for us. I know that, which I'm about to show you guys in a minute, I was really into the landing page analytics, and then even like landing page by source. I was also into the page funnel analysis in Google Analytics. I like to understand like how people moved throughout the site. And then I would implement something like Hotjar just so I could look at how customers are interacting with the site, maybe fix up some things, or send people to pages that had really great conversion rates and it was a single page visit, like you would see for a lander coming from Facebook or something. So yeah, I like to know from the group, chat in if you want, send me a DM on Slack, whatever you want to do there. But I'd love to learn more about like, what would you miss the most from GA, and can Triple Whale just help you integrate that? And what I'm about to show you next with the Willy dashboards, I think will give you, it'll be kind of eye-opening to what we can do with artificial intelligence, meaning we can use natural language. You can just type it something, say, hey, I want to understand how many customers are visiting the homepage and then a collection page. How many visitors are going from the point A to point B to point C? And we'll be able to write SQL queries in the back end to actually give you that analysis. So one fun thing, let's go through, let's hop in here and check out these Willy dashboards. So now go to the summary page when you guys log in. You'll be able to see Willy dashboards here. This should be available to everyone. When you click on Willy dashboards, these are going to be pre-built dashboards that we have for you. So more will come available over time. The one we were just talking about was like this landing page report. So you can click the plus symbol and add it. And I've already got it here. So I want to show you guys what this one looks like. This one specifically, as well as the Facebook ads, which we'll go through next, are dynamic based on date range. So you can actually change the date range here to the last 30 if you want. And very similar to what you would see in Google Analytics, we can actually show you where customers are landing, homepage, products, collections, any of those. And we've already kind of stripped out the UTMs there, which is great because I know that can be a real pain in the butt, pulling out query parameters from your landing page report. And we'll give you sessions and orders and revenue, conversion rate, and even more columns will come soon. So you'll be able to actually query Willy and say, hey, Willy, add this column to my table, which I think is really cool. So instead of having to press a button and sift through all the available columns, you can just ask Willy to send that to you. So that's pretty fun. And so check that out for your own brand and let us know what you think. Are there any holes or things we can improve there? What do you want to see in this analysis? I know the next stage for me is like the funnel. I want to know how many people went from landing page to the product to strand, right? How many people are going through that flow versus people going from the home page to maybe this collection page and then to a product. Oh, Michael, getting an error when I open any of the dashboards. Michael, let me know, are you ping back? Is it the Willy dashboards or summary or just everything? But otherwise, we can definitely take care of you after the webinar and make sure you're squared away. All right, Mike's not seeing any. Hey, maybe I'm a little ahead of the game here. I'm sorry. So if they're not available to everybody, then let's just take this as a sneak peek, and I'll make sure they get out as soon as possible. So I may be jumping the gun a bit here, so I apologize, guys. But I'll make sure as soon as we get out of this webinar that everything gets available. Oh, refreshed and they worked. Awesome. All right, good. I was pretty sure they were available for everyone, but I could be moving a little faster than the engineering team here, which is normally the opposite interaction. All right, refreshed and they worked. Same, refresh. Great. All right, it's awesome to hear. Hold on. All right, so the next one, Facebook ads. This is going to get even more improved. One of the things that I suggested we do, or let me back up for a second. Right now, everyone's probably used to going in your ads manager in Facebook and being able to click between the campaign tab, the ad set tab, the ad tab. And right now in the Pixel, the way that table is structured in the back end, we can't make just ads as a table available. But with Willy, funny enough, we can. We were able to take the information from Pixel and put it into a new backend so that you could query against it. And so what we were able to do here is provide you with 3 different sections. If you want to look at all campaigns, you can do that. If you want to look at all ad sets by themselves, you can do that. And if you want to look at every single ad, you can do that. So the next thing I suggested that we do right out of the gate is add a column to show you what ad set and campaign these ads belong to. And then here for the ad set, show you which campaigns these ad sets belong to, which I think will go a long way at your for your analysis. But if you guys have other suggestions for how you'd like to visualize this data, like again, send it to me. I'd love to learn more about how you really want to see this data and maybe what you'd want to query Willie for next to build upon this. So all these things are coming down the pipeline. And the next one, so I want you guys to think about, you have the summary page, kind of like this pre-built dashboard. And some of you have maybe been used to like seeing something like Dacity out there, where it's a very complex dashboarding system that maybe takes queries. Maybe you can do a little bit of pivot tabling. But imagine being able to create beautiful graphs off of any query you want, just typing a sentence. And so this was kind of our first foray at showing you what's possible. And what we've done here is we've been able to like overlay these graphs. So a line graph with a bar graph to show you total spend, and then Google Ads ROAS over time. And then daily revenue with blended ROAS over time. Now, this right now is not dynamic, meaning you can't just change the date range. We're just doing a rolling 30 days on this graph. But soon you'll be able to just build your own charts here by typing a sentence to Willie. Say, show me Facebook spend and pixel Facebook ROAS on a bar and line chart, right? And then we'll create something like this for you, because all this was built out of queries to begin with. So really fun stuff there that I'm excited about. So yeah, please play with these. Please send us questions, ideas. If you're not in Narwhal Nation, let me know. I'll get you in there. My email address is just logan@triplewhale.com. But we can also chat in Narwhal Nation too. We can all discuss ideas for Willie, dashboards you want to see that you haven't had built yet for you. But I think this is going to go a long way to kind of democratizing BI teams for e-commerce brands. So it's very exciting. All right, great. So that's pretty much the new stuff that I wanted to show you guys. So web analytics, Willie dashboards, check those out. Coming down the pipe, I don't have anything to show you guys today, but just so you know, we're releasing new attribution models. So that's probably going to launch later today, but just as a heads up for everyone that's here, just so you know what's going on, this is going to be recorded, so you can hopefully rewatch this if it's at a later date. But we are working day in and day out to try to make our pixel product and attribution as best as it can be. So one really fun unlock we got recently was the ability to combine journeys that we weren't able to combine before. So now with this, it's basically what we call an ID graph. And if you go to Google Analytics, they talk about how they have an ID graph or one that you can build alongside of them, but it gets really complex. So that's why I say lean on Triple Whale to just do all the hard work and heavy lifting, because we have a lot of engineers that are way smarter than me, and let them build these things, and then we take advantage of it. So with this new ID graph, we realized that we were able to combine journeys that were over a year long. Like we went through customer orders and we were able to just scroll. If you clicked on ROAS on the pixel table, like I'll show you here. I'm sure hopefully everyone has seen this, but you can click on an order and you can actually just see what ad they clicked on, what collections they went to. But with this new ID graph, we realized that you could scroll for just days. Like we were going back an entire year, a year and a half of a customer's journey. So with that knowledge in mind, what we've decided to do is there's going to be a new drop down here on the pixel table soon next to event or click date and the attribution model. And you'll be able to toggle to the new pixel essentially. And what that means is it's taking advantage of our new ID graph. With that, we've gone ahead and defaulted our attribution window to 28 days instead of lifetime, so that those year and a half long journeys are not impacting the ROAS and conversion value you're seeing today. Because, for example, if you used lifetime and a customer clicked on a Facebook ad a year and a half ago, their purchase today with a lifetime attribution window will actually be reported here and given credit to Facebook as an example, when that's not very indicative of the current marketing that you have in place right now. It's not telling you how well your marketing activities today are realized into revenue. So that's why I believe usually, depending on your sales cycles and with this ID graph, usually smaller windows of time to understand how well marketing activities today are impacting your revenue today. And then extrapolating that out to a 7-day click, that's more like a 1-day click. But if you want to look at 7 days because your sales cycle is a little longer, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a really fun one. And then with that same ID graph, we're launching a new customer journeys feature. So if you went to Pixel and then customer journeys, what everyone is used to today, let's expand this a little bit. What everyone is used to today are these standard integrated channels. So what we did in the beginning is we just took the classic channels that we integrated with or we were partnered with. So Klaviyo, Facebook, Attentive, Google, even Twitter now, Microsoft, all the integrated paid channels were available here. But there was still a lot missing for your brand. Like you didn't really understand how many people went direct and then they went through Facebook. You didn't know how many people went from Facebook to Google organic search. So with this new ID graph, we're launching a brand new customer journeys feature that is going to mimic the Pixel All page. So every single source available here will be available in the journey feature, and you'll be able to break it down all the way to the campaign level. So if you're one of those advertisers out there that are doing like a top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel Facebook campaign strategy, in the new customer journeys feature, you'll actually be able to select Facebook and then the top of funnel campaign and visualize how many people are actually following the funnel that you were expecting them to. And I think that'll be a huge unlock because I posted on my own LinkedIn or Twitter earlier this week. I recently bought a pair of shorts from Chubby's and they arrived on Monday or Tuesday. And literally that same day, I went on Instagram and I received an ad with that exact pair of shorts. And what was funny is I clicked on the ad because I wanted to see what UTMs were in there. And it was actually a top of funnel Advantage Plus campaign. So I thought that was interesting that I'm a customer. I'm almost positive I used the exact same email address that I use for Instagram, like my login. And I received an ad for a pair of shorts that I had already bought. So the exclusion clearly wasn't working there. I don't know how widespread that is, but I think it'll be interesting to know how customers are moving through your funnel. How many of your customers, your new customers, are actually starting at a middle of funnel or bottom of funnel campaign when you expected them to start at the top of funnel? So I'll be curious to know, once you guys see this data, like how are you using it to make your decisions? There's probably more expert media buyers in here than me. So I would just love to learn more from you all as you explore these tools and gather the data in your head and make decisions as a brand. So that's a lot of the fun stuff coming through. Now I wanted to go through and kind of chat through some of the questions. I'm going to populate them here into the webinar. That way everybody can see what we're doing. And if you guys have questions on your own, please populate it into the questions tab that's down here. And I'll go through them. So send a question. Let's do this. We're going to do the live answer. All right. So first question, when do you enable tracking of B2B leads through form on website and Triple Whale? Right now I'll start off by saying that we are still like 100% bought into like e-commerce. We have definitely thought about making Triple Whale for Triple Whale when it comes to like actually lead tracking and understanding the funnel and the long-term value of like SaaS businesses. But I imagine most people here are working at an e-commerce brand. And if you're thinking about even B2C leads, I would still explore the email signups. And you can actually create, let me get out of this for a second. We have email signups here for every channel. And I would also suggest creating like a custom metric. You could do like cost per email signup or even like revenue per email signup. So you could do cost per email signup. And then you could do a metric. Let's do spend. And then divided by email signup. Or something like that. And so take advantage of the custom pixel metrics and see what you can finagle and figure out that makes sense for your brand. I've got a really fun idea about a funnel analysis too that I'll probably share more on my own Twitter. Maybe we'll push this into like a blog for Triple Whale. But I think there's a lot to uncover about hot and cold leads that come through your your website, sign up for the email or SMS program, and don't purchase within your 7 or 10 day window for your flows. Like, how many of those people are falling out that maybe are being ignored after they complete the abandoned cart or the welcome series? So I think there's a lot to be said there as far as trying to convert them, and tactics that you guys can deploy to try to convert those, what I would call warm leads, like someone who didn't convert during the periods of my flows, the initial flows that I sent them, but there's still a great opportunity because I spent money to get them to my site already. They've already signed up for my email or SMS program. And as long as they're still somewhat engaged, like opening those emails or clicking on them, I think there's a really good opportunity for you to spend time and effort trying to convert them versus trying to retarget them maybe on Facebook or Google, or even through something like Taboola or whatever, or YouTube, whatever it may be. I just think that there's some areas within SMS and email that you could silo them off, and really talk to them in a certain way versus the entire cohort of your email subscriber list. All right, so let's go to the next question. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Sorry guys, one moment. All right, so this is what should we factor in while setting an MER target for 2023? Are there any models that we can use? I will give you, I'm actually going to show you guys a model that I use personally, but I'm sure that I've been influenced, like I think guys comment collect do a good job, and I'm sure this is influenced by things that I've seen around the web from some of the top marketers out there. So let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, awesome. All right, so here's how, and if anybody wants to give me their numbers in the chat, or you don't have to give me your real numbers, but if you want me to put new numbers in here to kind of run it as an equation for your brand, like let me know. But this is how I would think about targeting for MER, which is acquisition MER. And my rule of thumb is to and what I've heard across the industry, try and cover your operating expenses with new customer contribution dollars. So what I'm doing here in this scenario is I'm kind of giving myself a hero product, right? So what is the product that I'm for? So maybe like even using Mike as an example here with Muggsy jeans, like they may have like the black pair of jeans or the blue jeans. Maybe the classic blue jeans are the one that gets people really excited because they're stretchy and they feel like sweatpants. And he knows that there's a specific average order value against customers they acquire on that pair of jeans. Some people buy two, some people only buy one, some people get a 20% discount, some people don't, right? So you can think about it in all the granular scenarios you'd like. The customers who convert on the upsell, the customers who use a discount code, the customers who don't. And yeah, Kenny, I'll send it out. And I'd love some ideas from you guys about how to improve it. But this is kind of like a bare bones version of it. You can get even more granular than what I have here. So yeah, this is an example I ran for a brand that has $170 AOV. So then we wanted to look through all of our kind of variable costs. So we went through all of cost of delivery, which are the COGS, shipping, transaction fees, pick and pack fees, the return rate. This is kind of important, the return rate here, because although marketers aren't necessarily responsible for the number of returns that come back, it's a real number that you have to account for. And so if you have a product that you've been selling for a long time, or at least a considerable amount of time to have returns, at least understand how much money is likely going to come back from those returns. And even if it's exchanges, maybe you even put a line here for exchange rate as well, because those, if you're offer free exchanges, those have a cost to the business too. So if you know that 1 out of every 10 customers exchange, or maybe 1 out of every 20, and an exchange costs your business like $7, $8, put that in here. I even know of some brands that don't even deal with that. They don't fool with it at all, because they just pretty much tell customers to keep the product and they'll send them the next thing. And that's because they know how much it's going to cost them to send the item back, get the 3PL to unpack it, inspect it, repack it, put it back on the shelf, and then send them a new package altogether. And so when you start adding those costs up across thousands of orders a month, it gets pretty rough. So I've got a question real quick too. Oh, thanks, Kenny. All right. So yeah, now that we have return rate and taxes, we kind of know our cost of delivery, right? So I put a sum here. 36.9% of my AOV is tied up in cost of delivery. The next thing is determining like my acquisition cost target. So this brand I was doing here is actually doing really well, but they're at a very small scale. So keep that in mind. So this $18.30 is like the current thing, but they're not at big scale, right? So what I tried to do here was build a couple of scenarios in. So if I acquire customers at $45, what is my contribution dollars per order? If that goes up to $65, what are my contribution dollars per order? Okay. And these are the kind of questions and scenarios you can run through your agency. Because when I was working with a Facebook ad agency before, we were kind of all on the same page. Like, let's creative test like crazy. I'm going to let you do whatever you want as far as targeting and setup. But here's our North Star. Over a 7-day period of time, we cannot go over $45 on new customer acquisition cost because we go upside down and we just don't want to. We were not playing for the LTV game, even though we had good LTV. We couldn't wait 90 days. We wanted cash in the door that month, and we were shooting for a net profit target, which we can also build in here, and I'll discuss that here in a moment. But for now, we're just trying to cover operating expenses on new customer acquisition. And then you need to look at your returning customer business, which those contribution dollars should be much more. Hopefully, you're making about 50% contribution dollars, contribution margin on returning customer revenue, because you're not taking ad spend into account. That should just kind of be like frothy dollars coming in the door. All right. So now that we have these different scenarios, you could create as many as you want. But once we have the target CAC and we have our monthly operating expenses, then I'm basically just running some math, some equations here. So I'm taking my CPA and I'm taking the number of orders required. So what I did here was, I'll just highlight this. So I took the monthly operating expenses divided by the contribution dollars per order. Contribution dollars are the ones that are going into paying my monthly operating expenses to give me the number of orders I would need at this acquisition cost. And then I just broke out the spend. So what I'm doing here is the 18 or the number of orders divided by the CPA to give me, multiplying by the CPA to give me the amount of spend that I have to spend per month to achieve this. So the amount of it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's also like the reality. You'll have to spend more to make more at these higher CPA targets and get more orders in the door to actually cover your expenses if you're less efficient. So the more efficient you are, the better you can do at spending less and covering your operating expenses. But then essentially, once you've hit that target, if I was at $18.30, you just keep cranking the spend up, right? And just understand that every dollar I make after $15,000 on my contribution dollars is going into net profit, right? So this is what I would think about as far as AMER targets, mainly focused around an NCPA target against the AOVs. And you can run this exact same scenario for any of the funnels that you're trying to drive. So if you have wildly different AOVs, depending on the paths, and if contribution margin differs a lot with these different paths, then I would create different scenarios for them and do your best to try and create a Facebook campaign and ad set structure that pushes customers through those funnels so you can kind of measure the impact rather than just like blanketly sending them to the homepage and just kind of crossing your fingers and hoping that they order the things you want. But I'll show you in Triple Whale, you can also kind of pay attention to product analytics, understand what people are buying. Even though you may have something in mind, customers may be buying something totally different. So it's going to change. And like with Kenny here, like his structure is probably going to change a lot for the customers that only buy a t-shirt versus the customers that buy a hoodie potentially. And if he's doing, I think he's doing some deals, some collaboration deals. And so there might be like a % of revenue that he has to spend back or give back to those companies for using like the special rights to cartoons and things like that. So all of that can be baked into cost of delivery or cost of goods. So yeah, that's hopefully that helps. And then, yeah, I guess what I was saying too is that you can bake this into profitability targets by saying that as long as I'm acquiring customers at one of these scenarios, I'm spending this amount. I know how much it's going to take me to spend and how many customers I need to cover my operating expenses. And then you could say, great, if I spend 10K and I can still operate at between $18 and $25 CPAs, this is the amount of net profit I should make on new customer acquisition. And then, of course, run the same scenario against all of your returning customers. As long as you're bringing them in the door back through SMS, organic channels, email, you should have really good margins on returning customer revenue. And that will just add to the profit as well. So that's how I would structure it, but open to suggestions or ideas from the group here too. All right, so let's go to the next question. Sorry guys, just throwing this in here so we can all look at it together. All right, so this one came in. Is fashion verticals ROAS generally higher than others? Is pure ROAS skewed by costs off platform? Yeah, it can be. We actually, for example, we do use off-platform costs that are entered into Triple Whale for the benchmarks, but we can't force everyone into doing it. So for those who don't populate custom expenses and assign it back to ad spend, we're just flying a little blind. So I would use it as somewhat of a measurement against your own store, but just understand that it's probably not exact. But the ones that are platform based, like Facebook and Google, there's not much lying that can be done there. We're taking spend from the APIs. We're getting the category from the customer, whether or not they're health and beauty or apparel. So, and you got to realize that we have customers that are different AOVs. So make sure you're using the drop downs to choose AOV and spend level, because you wouldn't necessarily want to judge yourself against an AOV product that's like 250 or 300 when you're looking at like a $75 AOV for your store. So just pay attention to some of those variances and just know that not every report can be 100% accurate. It's just more of a guideline of sorts. All right, next question. Oh yeah, this will be a good one to look at with you guys. All right, first time product order and secondary product pipeline. Yeah, so let's go through this one in Triple Whale. All right, cool. All right, so one thing that I think I'm hoping, I need to actually look at our analytics on this just like I would if I was a e-commerce store, but I think that product analytics is something that I love. I just think you can, over any given time period, you can totally understand like how much inventory do I have in stock right now, and then how much am I selling of a certain product. And I think if you have those product path stories, the funnels we were talking about, where I have customers that I want to drive through t-shirt acquisition, but I also have customers that I want to drive through my pants and jeans and my hoodies. You know what? We have those paths and we have this idea in our heads as marketers, like where we want to drive people. But once they get to the site, they could take an entirely different path. They could see something, and it could almost be like price anchoring or product anchoring, where you know this is a fun product. It gets people interested in the brand, but they end up defaulting to something else altogether. So once you come here, you can understand how much is sold, but you can also, what I want to show here is, which I don't have on the thing. Let's look at new customer orders, new customer revenue. And we already have new customer AOV. So, and what I'll do here, I'm going to put new customer orders right next to total sold. And so you can kind of get an idea of which products have the highest kind of new customer orders to total sold ratio. So you can see here that the top knot ponytail holder, it's like less than half are coming from new customers. Whereas the Lulu 2 strand, although it's less total sold, this is more like 80% of new customers are hitting this product. So this is where you could go use the acquisition worksheet to understand your margins around the Lulu 2 strand. And if you see that new customers are navigating to this already, that could be your path of success moving forward for other new customers. So maybe model that out, understand what kind of acquisition cost you need. What's your margin on this product? Is it the same as others? Is it 80%, 90%, 70%? All of that will determine whether or not you think you can actually advertise this funnel. But the other thing you could do here is if Lulu 2 strand is the preferred product of new customers, maybe you can sell 2 of them, right? So you could bundle them together or bundle the 2 strand and the ponytail holder to give yourself a higher AOV, which will help you kind of inch up your acquisition cost scenario. So instead of having to acquire them for $10, maybe you can try to acquire them for 20 instead, because AOV went up enough to give you enough margin to play with. So those are the kind of scenarios I would run through there. And then the product journey will actually show you where customers are starting and where they're going next. So you can see from the top products here on the left, this is where you decide the starting point. So we'll start with the 2 strand, and then we can actually see how many people go to other products. So Lulu 2 strand to other is 65%. I can expand this a bit if I want to see what those might be. So now other, let's see, the top knot ponytail holder. So you can see that, let's go here, Lulu 2 strand. Now we've got this big wide band. So they're going from Lulu 2 strand to the ponytail holder. And then the ponytail holder to the Lulu 2 strand for kids. Another pretty good one is to go in Lulu 2 strand to it again and again. So this might be your opportunity to bundle if you're seeing these products stacked on top of each other. Are they going from the same product to the same product? So like for people who have, like I'm using Kenny as an example because he's got a bunch of t-shirts. If you see them going in the same category, like one t-shirt to the next t-shirt, if you see a large percentage of them doing that, that might be your opportunity to just bundle those 2 t-shirts and get them on the first purchase with both of them. But this is kind of how I would go through your analysis of product analytics right now. And then additionally, in the cohorts page, you can actually create a segment in our segment builder or a filter for products, and then product name equals, and then choose a product. So like Lulu 2 strand, and I'll apply it. And so now I'll be able to look at the cohort analysis based on customers that we acquired through the Lulu 2 strand. Madison's not like a great store, by the way, so I apologize, but we want to make sure we keep, this is kind of like an in-house store, and we want to make sure we keep everybody else's data private, so we don't show off any of our customer stores. But your cohort analysis for any given product should look a lot cleaner than this. But this will also help you understand the variances between some of your top products and how customers interact over time through lifetime value and repeat purchase rate. So I think that'll be very helpful. All right, so I'm hoping I'm not boring everyone to death. I'm seeing some folks drop off, but I also, that was the questions we had for this week. I really just wanted to show off the new web analytics. I really wanted to show off the new Willy features. So if anybody who's still here has questions for me or wants to hop in the chat and just like discuss something you're dealing with, doesn't have to be anything related to what we just talked about, but would love to like share it with the group and help you out if I can. So I'll kind of let the chat percolate if that's something people want to get into. Otherwise, like make sure that I'd say right now, some of the best ways to keep up with what's going on in Trip Whale, because we're moving pretty fast, is I would definitely make sure you're following us on Twitter and LinkedIn, and then follow AJ as well. He's AJ Orbach, just on Twitter, and he does a lot of like personal retweeting and tweeting of what's going on before it even goes into the brand account. So great way to keep up quicker than anyone else. And then Narwhal Nation. So Narwhal Nation's got a lot of fun stuff going on right now. And there's constant communication about things people are struggling with, things that are going well, creative analysis for your ads. So make sure you're in Narwhal Nation as well. Here we go. How can I add payment gateways? I have removed some which I did not need and want to add new ones. Yeah, let's hop into the chat. I mean, in Triple Whale, if you go to the cog at the bottom left and click cost settings, payment gateways should be there for you. But we do automatically pull payment gateways from Shopify. So I was hoping that we would have automatically pulled in all ones you have, that your customers would see at checkout. Let me see something really quick. Gateway codes. Yeah, right now we don't have a way to manually add them because they should be done automatically. But please chat with us in the intercom chat. It's at the bottom of the bottom of the app, and let's figure out what we can do for you. Maybe we can manually add it back for you. All right, Daniel, how to correctly set up and analyze Affluencer Hub. So it shows commission fees. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and share sale. That's an interesting one. So let me share my screen and I'll show you what we do have there. We're going to be making some changes to Affluencer Hub too to make it a little easier. So one big change is that right now in Affluencer Hub, once you set up an affluencer, let's say it's for me, I'm an influencer for Triple Whale, and my primary channel is Instagram. You can set up Logan Brown against Instagram and now give me a link that I'll use on all of my Instagram stories and my link in bio and track how well I'm doing. However, if I also decide that I'm going to launch a YouTube channel, you would have to create me twice in Affluencer Hub, Logan Brown for Instagram and Logan Brown for YouTube, which is not a lot of fun. So we're going to change that up so that you can actually create one influencer across multiple channels and sources. And we're also going to allow you to create dynamic costs over time. So let's say that in the month of January, you paid me $3,000 for influencing the brand, and then you decided to re-up with me in March. Right now, it's not very easy to go in and add the cost for March, even though you've already added January. So we're going to make it so that you can kind of put line item costs against different time frames for one influencer over time. But let me share my screen and I'll go over Affluencer Hub. And by the way, this is the cost settings page for the gateway costs. We just don't have like a manual add gateway cost because these are supposed to be pulled directly from your Shopify settings. But hopefully we can figure that out for you. All right, Pixel. All right, so if we were to add an influencer, so for share sale, you're gonna have to probably remind me how you're setting this up, but I believe that share sale automatically tracks influencer and affiliate traffic through discount codes, and they also have their own tracking. So we may have to work together to figure out how to blend that. But let's just say that you were working directly with an affiliate site and you were able to send that affiliate site a specific link that they could populate in their website or their email newsletter, however they're going to promote your brand. What I would do here is like Rolling Stone magazine, maybe. And then let's make this rollingstone.com. And then let's say the blog post was going to be Triple Whale, right? And they were going to write about us. So one cool thing here is I can either choose from my discount codes that are in my shop, or I can make my own. So I could do Rolling Stone 10 to give 10% off. And I could create that discount code and say this is worth 10%. And I could say I'm going to give Rolling Stone $3,000 to promote this, and it starts tomorrow. And then I'm also going to give them, on top of the 10% discount code for the customers, I want to give Rolling Stone a 3% commission on the sales. And then I'm just going to choose other because I'm not using social. This is going to their website. I would save this. And I'll tell you the one thing that's kind of a pain, since I'm doing this on a webinar and it's going to look bad, is that once you save it, we create a link for you. But then you actually have to go through your Affluencer Hub to find the affluencer to grab their link. So we're going to fix that too. But say I save this. Oh, source website or rolling. Do that. Save it. And then I'll spare you the time of finding it, but basically there'll be a tracking URL like this, and you'll copy that to clipboard. And basically this tracking URL just has the predefined UTMs that we need to track it. But something that most folks probably don't know, or if you're not that familiar with tracking links, as long as you take our tracking link, you can append other things to it. So let's say Share Sale has a specific Share Sale ID they need at the end of the link. You could just append that Share Sale ID to our link, and hopefully both systems could track it for you. And then in addition to the link tracking is the discount code tracking. So if someone didn't click on the link but uses the discount code, we will then basically attribute it back to the influencer, regardless whether or not the link was clicked. So there's two forms of tracking that can happen there. And then additionally, if you have post-purchase survey set up for Triple Whale, you can, and I'll show you that hopefully. Let's see. In the builder, I can basically add an affluencer. Let's see if I can find the Rolling Stone. Yeah, probably not going to work for me. But let's just say I used Royal Makeup Boutique. I could choose them, and I could add them to my post-purchase survey. And so then if somebody answers Rolling Stone in the survey, then it'll automatically attribute back. And it will also deduplicate. So if we've already tracked that customer, clicked on the link or used the discount code, and they put it on the survey, it's just deduped. If we find that they didn't click on it, they didn't click or use the discount code, but they answered via the survey, we will attribute back to the influencer. So that's a three-prong approach. And I think you could use that approach for things like TV as well. So if you're using like a QR code on the TV or a vanity link, make sure the vanity link populates UTMs that we've predefined once they go to the site. QR code will easily just hide those UTMs. So when they scan it, they'll go to the site. Discount code can be mapped. Then you can also use the TV ad specifically in the post-purchase survey. So it's not perfect, but I think it's a really kind of simplistic and easy way to take a three-prong approach against attribution for things that are a little more difficult to track than, say, like a Facebook ad. So Danielle, I hope that helps, but we can connect offline about Share Sale too. I'd love to learn more about your setup there and figure out what's required by Share Sale versus maybe how we can use our attribution tool to answer your questions. Okay. I'm going to give a last call for questions, but hopefully this has been helpful. Sorry that if I haven't been as rambunctious and fun as Rabah and Sonder, but Rabah's traveling the world right now. And so yeah, I'm glad you guys came and joined me. This is fun. Love talking to customers and kind of guiding them through the app. And I'm always available, Twitter, Slack, whatever, if you need me. And yeah, this has been great. So I guess I can give everybody 10 minutes of their day back, which is fun too. So go grow your business. Use the new web analytics. Give us feedback. Use the new Willie features. Let us know what else you want answered through something like Willie. Be creative. Think through things that your analysis you're trying to do now. And we look forward to seeing you. So thanks so much, guys. And until next time, see you next Wednesday.